Ladies and gentlemen, guys and girls, my name is Reavyne, and today we're going to be talking about a very sensitive topic. Everyone likes to get their knickers all up in a bunch. They put their fucking shield walls up, they rip out their swords, and they just start screaming whenever anyone talks about this topic. And that is legacy servers. Now, everyone knows that Australia's just basically kicked off again, and holy shit, it is doing really fucking well, okay? It was doing amazing to begin with when Blizzard shut it down because it was flying too close to the sun and basically was getting really high at Warlords of Draenor's low point when it was doing really shit, and that looked really bad on Blizzard. So what they did was they closed Nostalia's, the private server, vanilla one, and basically, yeah, now it's reopened because Blizzard failed to uphold their end of the deal when it came to basically the talks with opening up legacy servers and all that sort of stuff. Blizzard did what they always do. They bring the guys in who made the servers. They do it to appease them. They're a bunch of yes men. They go, yes, 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 yo, we're definitely listening. We're definitely listening. As soon as they leave the door, they're like, look at these fuckheads. Yeah, we're not doing anything that they want. We're not doing anything that the players want because fuck those guys. That's what Blizzard does, and unfortunately that's what lots of companies do. So it's bitten them on the ass a little bit here because you have people on both sides, okay? You have the people who play retail, which I play retail, and then you have the people who play vanilla private servers who played back in the day. I played back in the day. I jumped on the private server just to have a quick bash around, and it's fun. But I play both, but you got people who just seem to be on one end of the spectrum and they can't see any other point apart from, oh, I like retail, so fuck legacy, and I like legacy, so fuck retail. Now you go and put those two together, and what do you have? You have an unwilling circle jerk, and it's not fun when no one wants to touch each other, okay? So the main thing that really gets to me here is that you have the legacy server. When I jumped onto it, oh man, it brought back a feeling that I haven't had in so fucking long because there were people everywhere. I typed /who just in the orc starting zone, and there were 9,375 people. When was the last time? Honestly, okay, I'm going to be appealing to both sides here, okay? Because I'm neutral. I'm fucking Sweden. I'm Sweden in the middle here. When was the last time on live you walked into a capital city or any zone and you ran into thousands or hundreds of people? Honestly, I was in the starting zone, level 1, in the orc starting zone, and there were thousands of people there running around. Everyone was talking, everyone was chatting, everyone was doing everything, because it's not just you tag a mob and then you automatically get the thing for it, and then you just tag it once, kill a bunch of other mobs, and then everyone walks off. No, people were forming groups. Remember that thing? In the world, forming groups. People were forming groups, talking to each other, and they were just going, yeah, so while we're waiting for the mob to spawn. There's like, they made a raid to kill a level 2 mob, for fuck's sake. That is awesome. Okay, I had not had that in so fucking long. People barely even make raids to do the fucking, the world bosses. Half the time they just rock up, tag the fucker, and then just tag it a couple times, wait for it to die, and then they leave. On retail, but on this, it's just they were making a raid group for a fucking level 2 mob. And you could go, oh, that's because, you know, otherwise they'll never get to fucking hit the mob and stuff, but that doesn't matter. Yes, the mob tagging system is a beautiful thing in current WoW, because the fact of the matter is that current WoW, the social aspect is dead. There is no social aspect outside of a guild. Even in guilds nowadays, there's less of a social aspect than there used to be. So I don't want to group up with some five random people I'm never going to talk to again. I have literally not added a single person to my friends list outside of guild members since Cataclysm, actually. It's been that long. I never got the chance to do that because the social aspect of WoW is just so dead now, and that's a problem, and that's why people want these legacy servers. Yes, I'll give you, legacy has its problems and retail has its problems, but at the same time, it all comes down to what you want, and that is a social aspect. Why are you playing an MMORPG? Why are you playing a massive multiplayer online game where you're supposed to be role-playing as a character and getting into that character and living in this vast, massive world full of NPCs, players, bosses, dragons, all this cool shit that made WoW what it was back in the day and made it the juggernaut that no one can take down? Why would you want to play a game like that and then just not talk to anyone? What's the point? Why are you there? I know if you want a single player game, there are plenty of fucking single player games that do the single player experience far better than World of Warcraft does. That's why I don't get why retail people get so upset whenever anyone talks about legacy servers. They rail them all the time. But the problem is, you're railing against something that A, you've never experienced. That's why most people who hate legacy servers hate it, because they never got to play it, and they're jealous because they never got to play it. Or they hate it because the game was hard in vanilla. Like, you pulled more than 2 mobs, you died, okay? You had to think about leveling, you had to think about your character, you had to think about actually being good. If you weren't good, you didn't do well. So it's either people who didn't get to play it and they're jealous, or it's people who were just shit. And yes, I'm sorry, but if you're shit, you're shit. The only way to get better is to realize you're shit and get better. I was fucking shit when I played in vanilla. I was crap. And you know how I got better? I got told I was shit, and I actively practiced to make myself better. That's how it works. That's how life works. But you have Legacy at the same time. You have idiots on Legacy who, they're just as bad. See, this is the problem with this whole argument, okay? The fact that it is an argument to begin with is because you got idiots on both sides. You got the dickheads on retail who are sitting there and they're like, oh my god, anyone who wants Legacy, why would you want to play a broken game from 12, blah, blah, all this crap, because they never got to experience it or they'll shit at it. Then you have the dickheads on Legacy who are like, retail is crap, they ruin vanilla, they ruin WoW forever, it's fucking completely shit. Meanwhile, you have me sitting here in the middle, and there are people like me as well who I've talked to who are actually have a brain. We can have a reasonable conversation about stuff. Reasonable, okay? And the main thing that we can see is vanilla WoW through to Wrath of the Lich King was the best time in WoW, because it's the time where World of Warcraft was the most true to itself. And then from Cataclysm onwards, it lost the meaning of what an MMORPG is. And they started making all these really dumb decisions, trying to cater to single players, and now in Legion, they've tried to put so much, it's basically a slot machine. It's World of Diablo. It's not World of Warcraft anymore, it's World of Diablo. And that's a problem, okay? But at the same time, vanilla WoW, yes, it had its problems. It had lots of problems where lots of classes weren't viable, lots of specs weren't viable. There was, it was basically the Wild West, okay? A lot of shit didn't work at times. And there are a lot of things that weren't optimized. And there is so much on the retail that is so good, that is optimized. Like the bag stuff, you got the flight pass being better, you got the world just looks way more amazing. They've done well with the classes, making sure the classes, apart from pruning, which fucking sucks, but like just making the classes viable, where any spec and class can be played to an extent, depending on, you know, if you want to go for high DPS or not. But that's always a problem with MMOs. But the main thing is that shit is viable. You can actually still do shit, okay? So retail has its pros. Legacy has its pros. Legacy servers are way more fucking social and way more fun to play on, because you're actually playing with people, random shit's happening, everyone's having a great time. People seem so much more happy on the Legacy servers, from what I've seen, than what they do in the retail. And you could go, oh, well, you can't tell how happy someone is. Well, guess what? I can, because on the Legacy servers, they fucking talk to me. People talk to me. On the retail servers, I hardly even get to fucking talk to a stranger. I hardly ever get to talk to anyone, so how would I know? That's the whole point. That's why I'm talking to you about this, okay? Both sides have their problems, okay? Both sides have their pros. But here's the reality of this whole thing and why it's completely pointless arguing about it. Blizzard will never be able to shut down Nostalius anymore. Plain and simple, it's in Russia. Good fucking luck. Okay, the Elysium server, the new one, is in Russia. Blizzard has no sway in Russia whatsoever. And even if they do, they got the source code. They can just bring it back up again. It's impossible. Legacy servers are going to be going on. Deal with it. Retail people, deal with it. It's happening, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. And to Legacy people, okay, retail's going to keep going. It's going to keep going until Blizzard drop down to under 1 million subs, and then they're going to milk it for all it's worth. And then at that point, here is the key thing that's going to happen. When retail dies, I mean actually dies, gets to the point where it's not making Blizzard billions of dollars anymore, that's when they're going to bring out Legacy servers. They're not dumb. They're a business. If some dude sitting in his room, can think of this, and I don't own a multi-trillion-dollar fucking company, this is what I would do. And I know this is exactly what Blizzard's going to do. They're going to let retail keep going until it gets to a point where it no longer makes money and it's, you know, not worth it. It's not making billions upon billions of dollars like it used to, okay? WoW's essentially dead, and it's just hanging on by the skin of its teeth. It had a good run, all good. As soon as WoW starts dying properly, I would not even close it. Keep it open for those who still want to play it for a sub. I would open up Legacy servers, starting at vanilla, so that way, retail, which is dead, it's no longer worth anything, okay? I would just leave it there, and then the people who want to hold on to that can keep playing it for whatever, because they like it. And then I would open up the Legacy servers, which I would charge an increased sub fee for it, so maybe $25. $20, whatever it is, depending on where you are. For me, I'm Australian, so everything's fucking way more expensive. And then I would open up that server, so I'd have those Legacy servers going all the way through, get all those people come flooding back to play WoW when it was at its best, in my opinion. I just triggered so many people just then. And then I would just keep raking in that fucking World of Warcraft money, because then I would be appeasing both sides. I would get the retail people giving me money. I'd get the legacy people, they're giving me money. Meanwhile, I'm getting money off a older than 12-year-old game at this point, because by the time actually finally dies, I reckon it's got maybe 3 or 4 more X packs out of it, if that, before it fucking crashes and burns and they fuck something up. But I reckon 3 or 4 more X packs, and then once that starts dying, they're going to start bringing out legacy servers, and they're going to do exactly what I said. And they're going to rake in money on an over 12-year-old game. Whenever they end up doing this, they're going to keep that open, so that way the people who are still playing that and love that and don't want to play Legacy because, you know, they got their fucking flag up of, you know, fuck Legacy and I'll never do it. And then you got the Legacy people who have their flag up of fuck retail, I'll never do it. And then both those guys are now happy and they're both paying Blizzard. And that's when they're going to do it. They'll never do it before. They'll never do it after. That's when they'll do it. When World of Warcraft finally does die, they'll finally bring out legacy servers and they'll rake it in from both sides, and then they will work on a brand new MMO, and once it's done and dusted with, they'll bring out their brand new MMO, and then they'll start the cycle again. They'll get that for another however long they can pull that off, and once that dies, then they'll bring out legacy of that, and then it just continues. They're a business. They're there to make money. Sometimes they're there to make money and just fuck the consumer, fuck the guys who made the World of Warcraft what it is, but they're there to make money and they will continue to make money regardless of whether you're on the legacy side or you're on the retail side. It's a dumb argument. It shouldn't be an argument. It can be a discussion. I'm fine with having discussions. I'm completely fine with it. But if you want to argue about stupid shit, look at the fucking reality of it. And the fucking reality is, legacy sanctioned servers for Blizzard will never happen until World of Warcraft is on its deathbed and dead. And even then, they're not going to shut down retail because they're still going to have idiots who will play retail even though it's a dead game. I'm not talking about now retail, I'm talking about future retail. The point where everyone leaves because World of Warcraft, it just absolutely kills the game. There'll be people, every game has it, there'll be people who, regardless of how bad the game gets and the reason why it crashes and burns, they will sit there and they will play it to its dead. Look at all the other failed MMOs that died and don't deserve to be played because they're shit. They still have a fan base because people will play something they like regardless of what anyone says, and props to them. But that's how it's going to go. So whether you're on the legacy side or you're on the retail side, look at the reality, stop your bitching both sides, and just play whatever the fuck makes you happy. If you like legacy, play it makes you happy. There should be servers for that. If you like retail, play it makes you happy. Just be happy. That's why we're playing games, guys. We're not playing games for fucking anything else other than we're doing it because it makes us happy. And that is my ramble on legacy servers. So thank you so much for watching, guys. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. It helps me out a lot. Leave a comment down below. I already know this video is going to get a whole lot of hate and a whole lot of love. Yeah, it's just going to be an absolute clusterfuck down in the comments, but I would love to hear from you guys. Remember, if you want to argue, feel free to argue. But be prepared to be called a dickhead, okay? If you're just going to argue. If you want to have a conversation, I am here and I will talk to you until my hands bleed from typing on the keyboard. I love talking to people and I love having conversation. And if you want to see more videos from me, please hit that subscribe button and I shall see you all in the next video. Have a good one, guys.